How is the very thing that paralyzes people. It will literally, and we don't even realize it. We give excuses like time, money, and not having enough of those to get where we want to go. But the truth is, we don't know how. And the big picture of what we want is so monstrous that we sort of stop dead in our tracks. We don't know how to turn it into bite-sized pieces. We don't know how to see progress in a really slow manner. And really, how is simply the manifestation of the giant picture coming to fruition and just not knowing how we were going to get there. So I just wanted to give you some easy breakdown steps of how you can move into what you want. So if you feel that great big calling inside of you, or you're desiring to quit your job, or you're looking for love, or you want to create a business that you can love, I want to break it down into simple steps. And I'm just going to start by telling you a really fun story. So years ago, I had the great opportunity of watching the Colorado Convention Center get built. And I was on the light rail every single day, and I was riding under this monstrosity getting built, the Colorado Convention Center. And I kept thinking, isn't it just so spectacular that an architect draws up this picture and then maybe creates a model of what they want the building to look like, which is us when we are ultimately trying to figure out what we want. We have these great big pictures of what we want. Now, an architect has created the blueprint and has created the model, and then hands it off to either a contractor or a project manager, who then ultimately, sort of the way I visualize it, rips the pages into tiny little squares and hands them off to people with their projects and what they have to do. And in essence, when we come up with our big giant dream and we don't know how, it's a matter of us just taking one deep breath and looking at our really big picture, our blueprint of what we want, the magnificent dream that we're after, and figuring out how we can tear it up into bite-sized pieces that will get us there. And it's teeny tiny actionable steps every single day that will get us to the how we're going to own a big house, or how we're going to pay off our debt, or how we're going to find love, or how we're going to start our own businesses. All of these big pictures take teeny tiny actionable steps every single day to invent and create and get to that big picture. Now, one of the best ways to prove how this works, to prove that it takes bite-sized pieces to get where you want to go, is to literally take a minute and a deep, big breath and look at how this whole thing started for you. Consider where you are right now. Right now, where are you? Look at the pieces of paper that you maybe have collected along the way, certificates, degrees, even high school diplomas. You got those. And give yourself a little pat on the back, because that didn't come overnight. Those pieces of paper took time. It took regular, daily, actionable steps to receive those pieces of paper. Now look at what you might own. If it's a car or a house, or you have rent that you pay every month, it takes small, actionable steps to have created that ownership, or to pay that rent every month. You have to do A, B, and C. So it's a big picture of how, if you don't know how to break it down into tiny pieces. Now look at all the friendships that you've cultivated over your time. The people that have been with you since the beginning, and how those relationships have grown into a deeper, more loving, respectful situation. You don't imagine that you're going to meet somebody on a Monday and be madly in love with them by a Tuesday. Relationships take time to cultivate. But again, oftentimes we assume or imagine these really giant leaps into the big picture is how we want it to go. But in truth, it takes tiny, small, actionable items every single day that are going to drive us into the places that we want to go. If we want to get the big picture, we have to start by just step-by-step processing every single day and not losing faith. The how we're going to get what we want is really just this idea of not losing faith and just continuing to go. One of my favorite books is Think and Grow Rich. And there's a story in Think and Grow Rich about a gentleman who it's during the gold rush, and he buys this plot of land that has been said to have gold on it. And he's chipping away, and he finds that he's got gold. There is gold. So he calls all of his friends and family, and he says, guys, I found gold. Send money so I can buy the right equipment so that we can get more gold. And everybody's pumped because it's the gold rush. And if you find gold, you're going to be a millionaire, and it's going to be so great. So he gets all the equipment, and they get all the gold out that they can, and they're chipping away and trying to get more gold. And the vein runs out. And it's like there's no more gold. They don't know what to do. So they turn all the equipment in. He sells the equipment and the land rights, to a guy down the street. And I'm paraphrasing clearly this book. He sells the land rights down the street and to the left. And the guy who buys the land rights and the equipment is looking at, where this guy has dug, and he's very familiar with the area, and he's very familiar with the gold rush, and he's very familiar with how all this stuff works. But he has an aha in that. He decides, this man who's collected the land rights and the machines, he decides he's going to take the land to a geologist and have the geologist look at this. He doesn't give up and assume that this equipment is just something to be sold. He doesn't assume that the land isn't ripe with gold. He hires an expert. To help him see if there really is any gold. So by the end of the day, he's got this geologist on this land that this other man had been chipping away and mining at and trying to get the riches out of, and had given up and decided he was just going to lose. So he sold all of his equipment and walked away and handed off his land rights because he assumed there was no gold. And meanwhile, the man who's winning right now is the one who got the land rights and the machines, and he hires the expert. And the expert goes up to the land, and the expert says, this guy that owned the land before you was digging in the wrong spot by a foot. So if you've been howling for a while, if you've been taking small actionable steps for a really long time and not breaking into the thing that you thought was the right thing to do, and you've been following the thread and you've been really working hard to discover how you're going to do this thing, consider hiring an expert. Consider hiring somebody who knows how for you, how to break through patterns that you're stuck in, how to break through the habits that have consistently held you back and confined you. Hire an expert that knows how to, for you, how to find the gold inside of you, how to help you fully unzip and come out and become all the things that you want. If you don't know how to get where you want to go, and you are paralyzed beyond a shadow of a doubt, and so much so that you are not living the life that you are meant for, hire an expert. Hire an expert to teach you how. How can you rise unlimited into the life that you want? How? Hire an expert. That's the difference between those who win and those who don't. Now, the man who walked away from the gold, just to finish the story, the man who walked away from the gold, who left the land rights, who walked away, that man found out, of course, that this other gentleman found the gold and won. He went on to become an insurance agent, okay? But the thing that he learned from that experience, because we learn from what looks like fail is actually a win. He learned from that experience that he was 1 foot away from riches, 1 foot away. And that every time he thought to give up from that day forward, he had the visual that he was 1 foot away, and that it was just a matter of turning the dial, and finding a new way in to get the yes. So an insurance salesman is going to hear a lot of no's, but when you have it in your heart that you're 1 foot away from the yes, then you're going to see how to turn and bend to get to that yes. So if you're stuck right now in your life, if you are feeling like you don't know how to get the things that you want, how to get out of debt, how to build a business, how to own your home, how to find love, how to change your job, if you are paralyzed in your how, you're going to want to hire an expert. So like the man who lost the gold, you can find a way to the yes. You can find a way around the bend. You can remove the limiting beliefs and the self-doubt so that you can get to the how you're going to rise unlimited to the life that you were meant for. Now, if this is landing, if this is hitting you in any way, I just want to welcome you and invite you to set up a free 45-minute discovery call with me. This is my expertise. This is what I actually am best at, is really like demystifying this how and illuminating for you the key components of getting anything done in your life with such grace, master, and power. And that is by igniting your intuition and magnetizing your ability to manifest the fuck out of your life. If that is what you want, please sign up for a 45-minute call with me. I would love to show you this 10-week process that will literally change your life and how you look at things. It will totally magnetize you towards what you want and invite you to really rise unlimited into the lifestyle that you've always desired. And if money is the issue and you look at it and you go, oh my God, it's this much money, it's okay. We have payment plans and we have programs and I have ways to work it because I'm in charge. So I don't want money to be the thing that stops you from doing anything, because money is just another limiting belief, and it's another I don't know how, and it's another thing that stops us from really living out loud and getting into our lives. So if this feels like it is so landing for you, hello, Kate, if this feels like it's so landing for you, please, 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 share this video, but also set up your 45-minute call with me and let me show you how I can guide you into your power, into your magnetized manifestation so that you can rise unlimited into the life that I know you were meant for. Let me help you. It's free.